Hello and welcome to another edition of All In. Of course, it is Epsom Metropolitan Turnbull Stakes weekend ahead. And fellas, what a weekend of racing, of sport, in fact, has just gone by. Lewis Willoughby, welcome from Sky Racing.
Yeah, it has been a big weekend as we record this on a Monday. As you'll seen on the Batuta Advocate yesterday, linen shirts are flying at half-mast in the eastern suburbs after the loss of the Roosters and the Swans. But yeah, it was a great weekend of racing. And that continues this weekend. Obviously, the three Group 1s in Sydney and the Turnbull in Victoria. So there's plenty happening. And a lot of these Group 1 races, guys, I think you'd agree are, obviously you want to win them in your own right, but really good lead-ins to those big feature spring races, Caulfield Cups, derbies, etc. So, a lot to learn this weekend and hopefully some winners.
Dean Watling, DeanWatling.com, been doing your best work in the Sydney social scene over the weekend. How was it?
It was good, boys. A terrific weekend of sport racing, and yes, had a nice time. Had a box party. It was a great weekend, lads. Sydney turned it on, but that Batuta Advocate, Lou, they just don't miss. I don't think I've ever seen one of their little memes miss at all. So they're terrific. That was really good. I like that.
Waiting for the mirror selfie one from them. That'll be good. We'll forward that on to you as soon as we get it. Hey, what a weekend of racing it was. Kicked off Friday night at the Valley. Some serious horses going around there. The Manikato Stakes was grouse. Really good meeting. It was kick off with the Fian, though. Patronage. Look, it was pretty obvious that, she was going to have it all her own way. There wasn't really a horse that was going to take Mr. Bryce out in the race this time, and it sort of just turned out that way. Good win from both of those. Lou, what were your thoughts on the Fian Stakes?
Yeah, I thought it was, as far as a good win, it's probably testament to Brightside and others that they managed to get so close.
Yeah.
And so close is a stretch. It's not like it was a photo finish, but really, Prodigy at her peak in a small field, slow tempo at that track probably should be winning by a bit more. And that's not to take the win away from her. So they're all going really well in that small field. Yeah, I wonder why it only came up with 4 acceptances. Did they run scared of the top few, or what happened? It would have been great if it was a bigger field, but small and compact and still a good result.
Yep, big, and also a big draw card on the night. That was the talking point for majority of the night and majority of the week. Those two clashing. So it was good. Dino, what did you make of that and the Manikato?
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, that was 1,600 metres as well. I think it's advantage for Prodigy if they go further now. I think the query with 1,600 metres with her is she probably doesn't have that extra 400 metres to open up a bigger gap where Brightside could probably sit closer. So I thought we've all forgotten about the training performance. She was awful first up, and a lot of us said that she would win a race in the spring, and now she's back. So they've done a terrific job to get her back. But that was one of the most enjoyable Moonee Valley Friday nights. So the track played good. Growing Empire was enormous. She thought he was home, and then Southport Tycoon over the top. So he probably stamped himself as a real deal. And if anything, it just made it that Everest even probably murkier. Who's going to pick who? What's going to happen? And even on Monday now, we still probably haven't got the full puzzle sorted out. So we figure that out in the premiere. But I thought it was an outstanding week of racing. I really, really enjoyed it. Even the Golden Rose, favourite race of the year, and I thought it delivered Gannon.
Yeah, certainly did. Louis, you have an opinion on the Manikato Stakes at all?
Yeah, I just think it's again a testament to Kieran Maher to get that horse, a Group 1 winner over 1,600 metres or whatever it was as a 3-year-old, now straight into first up into a Manikato, reel off the best splits of the night, last 200 to win and beat a smart horse. He is just an absolute freak of a trainer. I guess one of the bigger question marks out of the race was I wish I win, and seeing a lot of chat on social media today that there's 2 schools of thought that it's not going as good as previous preparations leading into an Everest, or that Moonee Valley is not its track and you wait till it gets onto a more compatible ground for it in terms of track, so a Randwick or whatever, and you'll see its best. I've got to be honest, boys, I'm a little Camp A, a little Camp B. I think the Valley and sitting last off slower tempos and going wide is obviously not its best. But in saying that, I'm just still expecting a little bit more. I'm a big I Wish I Win fan, and going into this year's Everest, I'm certainly far less confident of the horse than going into last year's one, for example.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
I think maybe that confidence being dinted has somewhat to do with the field this year. I think about last year's field and probably yes, it was a solid enough field. But this year, I feel like 3-year-olds have their grip on it. I don't know. I would be concerned if it was any other camp. But Peter Moody's an absolute freak. Like he just does things where, like, I remember when he went into the Everest a couple of years back, and he's first up in a Memsey 1400, then went like 6 weeks between runs into it, and everyone's like, I think
it's Dino. I think this is a better preparation for him from what we've seen. No, I think this is a heaps better preparation than that.
It is, but you know what? Give him a few lengths off, the negatives of being at the Valley, and I still don't think he's running ratings that win Everest at the moment. Like I don't.
Yeah, but you know what, Lou? I agree with you, but none of them are.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, even Traffic Warden, horses going super, Storm Boy going pretty good for the Golden Rose. Those figures that those horses are producing, they're still a little bit off as well. And then you go through the field. Well, Jolly Star, I think, produced one first up that probably a good time to do this. Steffi Magnetic is probably thereabouts. She was close. But none of, like, Bella Nipotina, I Am Me, they're not producing, figures that are going to have you there either. So, I don't know, Dino.
That's a good point.
I don't think anyone's there yet.
I think the best year to describe is Giga year. Like, I just penned him purely off numbers. I think it's ratings one thing, but I probably lean the other way where I'm like, well, they're running at Moonee Valley. He's going to get back to Randwick, hot tempo, down the middle. Like, if he draws out, like, he's going to get every possible chance to run that number. I'm probably sitting that camp. Do you run about ratings, what they run before it, et cetera, et cetera? I'm probably not in that camp at all. I just try to find the horse that I think is going to have the best run of the day. Like, you look at, I think the year Legend even won it. He ran terrifically first up and then regressed, got absolutely towed up by Libertini, who was the best Everest trial ever. And then she went to the race, failed, and then Clitseat Legend won it third up off a bad rating to start the fall. So it creates layers to it. He hasn't even got a spot yet either. I don't think Kick has either. So
I wish I win.
They're going to wait.
I wish I win, Dean. You can kick and think about it, don't have slots.
So,
sorry.
Private Eye doesn't have a slot. Bit going on. And Bustling's got to come out. Bustling's got to come out and probably win. Or go very well. They'll go forward on that horse on Saturday. They'll be very, very aggressive. And if it doesn't run within a length or so, I'd say that slot will be up for grabs. Growing Empire or Komochi, it'll be for Yulong. Now, there's a horse that put up a good figure, Lou. I know this is an all-in show, so we'll move on pretty quickly about what's happening coming ahead. But that horse put up a really good figure on Friday night. But there's some question marks whether they go there or not. So who knows? But what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you lads for an Everest tip straight away. Just a early thought. Doesn't have to be a bet, but who, if you had to choose now, who would win, all things being equal, the Everest, Louis?
I'll stay with Bella Nipotina.
I'll go with. I've been bullish on the 3-year-olds, but I really think Jolly Star will turn up third up, or Traffic Warden. They're the two that I'd probably go with.
Yeah, I lean towards Traffic Warden, probably more because I've got the early ticket, so no interest, like self-interest. But I think it'll be a 3-year-old. I also think Stormboy will improve back to Randwick, where you don't have to fight for a position early. I think that'll be a big, big positive for that horse as well, and has only been very small margins from Traffic Warden. So I think it's a 3-year-old year, but we'll wait and see. Been wrong before. Hey, lads, let's look forward. Let's go to what's going to be a massive weekend of racing. Let's go to Randwick. We'll just kick off there first, and then we'll come back and cover off down south. But currently soft 6 rails out 3 meters. Fine weather all week. Dino, how do you see the track playing?
Yeah, should play pretty fair. I think, if anything, they've been pretty firm, these tracks. So fast up and in would probably be the suggestion there. A little bit maybe less run on, but they've been playing so well. I think the last Randwick meeting was probably the best I've seen it. So fair unless I see something else on the day, Gannon.
Righto, beautiful. Let's kick off with the Epsom as the Epsom Handicap. The Tab Epsom Handicap, of course. And odds courtesy of Tab, Royal Patronage $5, Seawolf $6, Covalika $9, Gringotts 11s, Tom Kitten 11s, Berkshire Shadow 15s, Democracy Manifest 15s. I really should have read that earlier and come up with a louder, more aggressive voice there, Lou, with the Epsom Handicap for Democracy Manifest.
Yep, it's going to be a chance. I will preface this by saying handicap races, I'd love to have a bit more time to really dive into this and figure out what's going to happen, looking at relative weights and whatever. What I will say is that the higher weights in this race don't have a bad record at all. So this leads into my tip of Royal Patronage, who I'm going to stick with. It's going to carry the 56 kilos. Don't let that turn you off, because top ranked Ellsberg, Hartnell, Happy Clapper, and Halraki all in the last 8 years carried 56 or more to win. So it's not just a low 50 kilo, no weight on its back kind of horse's race. Royal Patronage, just as mentioned in the episode we did, that nothing really went right for it in the 7 stakes, where it was probably supposed to be way up on speed, and it towed Fangirl into the race and still ran really well, I thought. The tramway form is the right form for this. A lot of winners of the Epsom kicked off in the tramway. I just want it to bounce back here, Royal Patronage, and I think it can. And again, that weight is no issue. The one maybe at a better price I could entertain is my Oberon, who also comes through that race and was really good, really served it up to Fangirl, and you're getting $18 about it here, which I think is not a bad quote in a strong field. Kovalika, I'm waiting for one of you boys probably to make a case for it. Man, seek help, Dino.
Yeah, right, Dino.
Well, J-Mac's on, so I'm not. Yeah, gosh, I don't know. I thought it would have been suited. I think it was meant to go around last week, and they scratched it out of down Melbourne. So I would say it's a vintage Epsom this year, boys. Like, you look at that market. Like, Gringotts is not going there. That's the big one. I wanted to be all over it, and I'm hearing it's not going here. It's going to go to a different race and then into the big dance. So that hurts it. I agree with you, Lou. 56 kilos for Royal Patronage. I think the top two in the market here, like a really nice bet. Royal Patronage, Chow Wolf. Like, Chow Wolf comes out of that grouse Ilias form from last start back to 1,600 metres. I normally don't like that profile, but I've probably been turning that way the last couple of years. I think they're the two horses I want to be with. I know market's gone singled out, but I just couldn't make a case for anything else. Like, I'm just looking down the page going, I think these have all got to improve a lot to meet lot two, Gannon. So I think Royal Patronage and Chow Wolf, they're the obvious, but I think they're the winners of the race.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with Royal Patronage. Like, the horse was super last two. It's been absolutely awesome. It gets conditions to suit. Very, very hard to beat. And there's no real value there, though. I don't think you're going to get a whole lot out of it backing it now. Horses at odds that you could probably consider. I agree with you, Lou. My Oberon was very, very good last start. Pretty good form, those races. But New Energy, you got to watch this stable. You know, it was 3 wide 2 days ago. Was waiting for a really big run, and now turns up here on the 7-day backup and was sort of luckless-ish first up, but wasn't quite there. Was completely luckless on Saturday. All of a sudden, you get to see it draw a gate with 52 and a half kilos. And it could just explode, and has some figures that are like maybe 3 lengths, some UK European figures that are nearly 3 lengths better than what it's done so far. And you just know they're coming at some stage. And what better time for them to arrive than a Group 1 Epsom Handicap. So I'll be keeping, or in terms of, the bookies might say, cuddling that one. Let's go to the Metropolitan Stakes, Louis. Land Legend, $6. Etna Rosso, $8. Unusual Legacy, maybe a query of getting a start. $8 first light was very impressive on Saturday. $9. Dozy, $9. Surely not. Future History, 11s. Serpentine, 13s. And Athabascan, $15. Louis?
Yep, no idea. Don't like big Group 1 staying races like this. Not a whole lot of ability to follow in a pattern. I mean, a horse like Come Play With Me in 2019 won it and was 14th up in the preparation, and Just Fine won it last year and was 3rd up off a Group 3 Kingston Town Stakes win. I struggle with patterns. I struggle with saying horses. I don't know these too well because I don't review them. Zardozi is probably the name that sticks out if I was just looking at a page at $9, obviously for the
kilos, Zach Lloyd.
Yeah, that's, and I tipped Zach Lloyd to ride a few Group 1 winners this spring as my hot take on Tab Social. So maybe I'll just cheer for it and hope they don't fire me. Dino?
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I think I was keen to be for Ilias, and obviously he's probably going too good for this race, and now he's going to the Caulfield Cup. I've been watching Zardozi closely last 2 starts. I wanted to be over again last start. The query again this week, though, is we're going to have like a drawing back end of the week, so we could be on a good form. I think that hurts her. Like, if we're on soft 6 come Saturday, I would have been with her in this race. The rest of them, honestly, you're better off backing them off failures. They tend to, when they fail, the next start they run a big race. So, no, leave me out, Gano. Zardozi, if it's a soft track and there's any giving it. But outside of that, yeah, leave me out.
Yeah, I thought Athabascan's probably won at a decent price. You're getting in like $15. You could probably look a bit wider, might get a bit more that if you're looking for like a wide sort of value play, ready to jump out of the ground, 2,400 meters for sure. And I'd probably be confident in Unusual Legacy, but it running a huge race here, but ran second on the weekend and doesn't guarantee it a start, albeit Chris has quite a few horses in the race. If they wanted to get a start, they will, you'd imagine. So anyway, a lot to unfold there, a lot to unpack. Flight stakes, fellas, really simply, if you don't have a tip, just a yes or no, or maybe a margin. Autumn Glow, $1.70, Snowy May, $6, Lady Shenandoah, $8, Dino.
No, leave me out. Enough this week, Lou, for that race.
Just a tip?
Yeah.
Margin?
A tip. Sorry, Autumn Glow, if Lady Shenandoah's not there, flip him around if she is, Lou.
Oh.
Yep, I'll go Autumn Glow. I'm not sure how they turn the tables, but is $1.70 a bet? Probably not.
Vulnerable, Autumn Glow, $1.70, Ludicrous, Snowy May, $2. Easy bet to have. If you're going to back
place, yeah.
Yeah,
yep.
the place. If you're going to back Autumn Glow, $1.70, you're mad not to back Snowy May, the place.
If you can find a favourite out market, that's probably a good one to play in because they all come through the same race. They always come through that T Rose. So, it's probably.
Is Lou Bet offering anything for the battlers?
No. I'll offer you 300% market percentage.
Max bet $10.
I'd still be doing better than a few bookies getting around.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I wasn't going to name any names. Right, let's go to the Tab Turnbull Stakes. Geez, no wonder you're only getting paid half wages, Lou. They're sponsoring every race. The Vestina, $3, Elias $4.50, Buckaroo $5, Warmonger $8, Atisha $11, Faulkner Park $11, Longer the rest. Lewis Willoughby, the Turnbull Stakes for 2024, got a profile for us.
So the Turnbull, the profile is third up or fourth up. Gold Trip and Incentivize won at second up, but they were the only two of the last 8 years. So you want to be a little deeper into preparation. I'm going to back Buckaroo in this market. I some reason had it in my head that it was a bit better than $5. So now I'm just having another look at it. I'm probably downgrading my confidence a little bit just from this price point of view. And I'll tell you why. Its latest runs have been super. The win in the Underwood was massive over 1,800 meters. I think the horse has clearly come back a completely different animal this prep and is flying and put good margins on them in that race. And to step up to 2,000 meters now, third up, right profile, I thought looks a good play. I just thought it was a bit longer than $5. Vestina obviously is open to bounce back, but I think is just a little short. And Elias, I'm with Dino. I'm a massive fan of this horse, massive fan. And it's clearly going so well. But is this a bit of an acid test against Vestina, who people thought was going to be the absolute horse of the spring and still could be, mind you, that's looking to bounce back? And if it does, that's going to give it a real race. And then Buckaroo holds form. Even a horse like Warmonger, I'm not completely sold on, but maybe it's going to really stand up here second up. And then Plaster Carousel, even Faulkner Park, I thought was in the wrong part of the ground. First up and is a chance of improving again. So, yeah, my little question mark with Elias is just that this is an acid test, and I don't think you might get much better than $4.50 on the day. So Buckaroo's the play for me, Dano.
Yeah, it feels like that's somewhat too well found, Elias, but that's probably the race itself. I mean, the top two, top three probably dominate it. They're probably likely winners. I think Vestina bounces back. There's no Pride of Jenny. We should get a firmer track. Damien Lane's book, which is interesting. J-Max stays in Sydney. So I think Vestina wins the race from Elias. Do you want to bet? I probably would wait for barriers, make sure it's a dry track and get the Saturday because I think they're just too well found. They're probably both priced like they're ready to go and going to run massive races, which they will, but I don't think there's any juice, Gannon.
Well said. I can't add any more to what you said, fellas, because certainly no value there for us, and it's hard to see those top three horses in the market getting beat. I think one of them turn up with their A game and they win. Vestina, $3. I thought, being fair income here, I thought that probably Elias probably deserved to be favourite and Vestina probably second favourite, but there's not a whole lot between them. I just thought that was a pretty significant failure. I understand it was a heavy 9, but it's Flemington. It's not like a slippery Rose Hill or something like that. The jury's
it's
out.
Intriguing, isn't it?
Jury's
Third
out.
jockey on her as well. I think it's not D-Day for her, but you want to be seeing her run terrific in this. I don't know. Everyone had an unbeaten for the spring. Cox Plate, it's all over. So keen to see what she happens, see if she bounces back.
Yep, jury's well and truly out there. Other races you wanted to cover down there, lads? We haven't got to the Premier Stakes, Dino. I know you wanted to do that, and we will most definitely do that in a minute. But the Danehill, Louis, did you have an opinion of a horse down there at the Danehill?
Yeah, I'm just grabbing this market. I think Bodyguard's a bet at $5. So
it's just come up.
spoke.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so spoke about the Everest before. If James Harron wants to use one of his own horses, I think it's got to be this one, right? And the latest trial at least, was really, really good. And $5, I think, is a pretty handy price against First Settler, who was good, and now that form line has been franked behind Growing Empire down the Flemington Straight. But I'm not completely sold on it. And the other one I mentioned is Reserve Bank, who's coming into this. It's a harder race, but is clearly a horse on the up. But they're both at $5. And if I had to pick one of those at $5, it's certainly Bodyguard. So I thought it's probably worth a play there in the Danehill. Dino, the Premier?
Yeah, back on Bodyguard. I just looked it up too. He has run down there, which is, I think, key. One of the Maribyrnong play put an absolute gap in there. I think it's 2 lengths. So that suits really, really well for that horse. Loot and dry track. So a good push there. But yeah, you want to go to the Premier, Gannon?
Yeah, let's do the Premier. I've got some odds for you as well. Sorry I didn't get them out on the other one. Didn't realise they were up there, Lou. But Bella Nipotina, $3. Horse that you're very keen on. You want to see a good run here, Louis. Giga Kick, $3. Think about it, $6. Marzu, $11. The Benedetta, $15s. Bornos Nachos, $15s. Should be $30s. China Lightning, $15. Af Cabin should be $260, not 26s. And longer the rest, Dino.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Like, Bustling's got a slot in the Everest, and here he is in a Premier, the same price as Af Cabin, Airman, and I Am Unstoppable, Rhythm of Love, and a couple of others. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, does it?
Imagine if you, if you found one that loyal to you, Dino, you'd be happy.
Yeah, exactly. God, good luck. Good race, this. Love this race. I just can't get past Bella Nipotina. Like, her first up effort in Concord Stakes, 1,000 metres after coming off sort of 13, 14 metre efforts up there in Brisbane was phenomenal. I think she's going best of any horse, probably leading into an Everest. I think she'll turn up this race and win. Concerned Giga Kick probably needs this as well. I know we had the other trial, but I'm hearing J-Max not even possibly right and going to jump on Jolly Star for the Everest. So that tells me that maybe, I think the only time you can back Giga Kicks for an Everest, in my mind, I think he's probably going to need that run on the weekend as well. So I just think Bella Nipotina is an easy bet to have here. I just look at the others, Marzu, Benedetta. If they beat Bella, I'd be concerned. I'd probably give away Bella for the Everest if she got beaten in this.
Yeah, I'm happy to be with her as well. The one I don't think is a bad price is Think About It. I went and watched his 2 trials before we hopped on air, and trials have been all right. And I heard Joe Pride on the radio maybe a week or so ago just saying, forget last preparation. We're back. We're aiming to get back in the Everest. We're aiming to be a sprinter again. And the 2 trials say that, that's fine. I tried to watch the jump outs of Benedetta, but in true Vic Racing fashion, the latest one was filmed out of focus and you couldn't tell what horse it was. So who knows how it's going? And then the rest of them,
what
rubbish.
A shambles.
I like, not to put too much pressure on her, and it's not to say if she got beat you'd have serious doubts about the Everest. Contextual wise, you'd have to see what happens. But all things being equal, she looks the winner of this race, and maybe Think About It's not a bad saver.
Great race, like proper race. I think what I'll say is I think Bustling's a big price, and if you go back and watch the replay, like the ride was just something else. So I don't think it's how you wanted to ride that horse and where you wanted to be in the position. So I think that they'll go handlebars down, they'll lead, and you'll have to see something out of this horse on Saturday. So for that reason, I'll be willing to take $6 the place of something on it, because I think they're going to be aggressive. The horse is going to be near its top, and you obviously $6 the place, not a bad bet. Do you have to probably take it now? Probably not. Bella Nipotina, well, she won't be fully wound up. She'll be close, but she always seems to be close because she always seems to be racing. She's just got residual fitness and she's just there. Giga Kick, I'm hearing the ATC have all but locked him in, so obviously he's flying. Think About It, doesn't have a slot, has to turn up and win the race. Intriguing race. These horses are screwed down. I think what I say is outside of those horses that aren't going to the Everest, be very concerned about your chances, because these horses are ready to go. Ready to go. Righto, best all-in play of the weekend, Dino?
Easy this week, I thought. Premier Stakes, Bella Nipotina is my best all-in play for the weekend.
Beautiful. Louis?
I was tossing up. and I still kind of am. It's either going to be Bodyguard, Royal Patronage, or Bella Nipotina. I'll rule out Bella Nipotina because Dino took it. So let's stick with a Group 1. Let's go Royal Patronage.
All right, I like that.
Bodyguard and Moral now.
Yeah, wins by 3.
Oh, I still tipped it. Yeah, other wins. And I'll be letting you boys know too, like the weekend. Gee, I saw that Golden Rose. Wow.
That was good.
Oh, mate, finally, first time in 6 seasons you've seen one good, and you didn't let us. You let us know about it, and also
did you see that headline? Did you see that headline run at the Valley too? Second,
and on Wednesday as well. I don't know what I was doing. I was busy doing something. My phone's blown up, and you're like, "I'll leave the tipping to me again," and you don't know what you're doing. And I was like, "Well, what's happened?" And you're like, "Oh, I beat you." I was like, "How'd you possibly beat me?" And you go, "I'll just go watch the replay." Oh my god.
I'm still asking how I possibly beat you. That was very, very lucky.
What was doing? It's the sickest beat you've ever seen. But anyway, I'm going to have something really small. I don't really have a best all in play. I found it like intriguing, like really, really hard. Great racing. Horses ready to go. Danehill Stakes, and this is the best all in play, but I actually think might get even a bigger price. So maybe just back it on Wednesday. Danehill Stakes enriched. I got a lot of time for this horse. This is a very different setup to anything it's found so far, but it was really good winning at Warwick Farm. I don't think it had the best run in trans. It was in between horses again. I think it gets a big spacious sort of Flemington straight, and we might see a different version of it. And it's in the right stable, Michael Friedman. So it just wouldn't surprise to see this horse jump out of the ground. Whether the $26 is a great play now, or you might get 34s on Wednesday, I couldn't tell you. I don't have a crystal ball. But I wouldn't mind having an each-way play on this come Saturday, lads. So there you go. Best bet midweek. Why don't I kick us off? We'll go Rose Hill just so you can't steal my thunder here, Louis. Race 6, number 7, Just Party. Hopefully you haven't gone that way. I think this horse will improve out of sight. This is easier. Benchmark 72. It's very, very good last start. I've got it marked closer to about $2.70. And I think it will be winning. There's no prices out yet. So it could open $6. It could open $2 and make a fool of me. Louis?
I'll go Rose Hill as well. Can I give you 2 quickly?
Mate, you're going that well. You can give us as many as you like.
Beauty. Right, yeah. Race 1, number 13, Great White Shark. Chris Waller, Joe Moreira. It was really good. First up, Warwick Farm finished 5th behind El Costello. That form looking pretty good. And race 5, number 4, Ravenclaw, J-Mac Chris Waller. It was an absolute horror watch. First up when it finished 5th at Canterbury. Don't go and watch the replay, especially if you're back at that day. It'll bounce back here, I think, second up.
Popping champagne sort of areas?
Oh, worse.
No, it
actually didn't even get out. It didn't even get out. At least popping champagne got out.
I think it's worse to get out and be beaten a lip than to not get out. At least
that might be true. That might be true. So race 1, 13, race 5, 4.
Dino?
I'm going to take you on race 1. Race 1, number 1, California Bay. I think it's a good bet there. 400 metres. Second up comes out of that main form. So I'll take you on, Lou. And just a sneaky one, we didn't touch on it, but Marcus just dropped. The Gilguy Stakes is on the weekend. King of Sparta is trying like an absolute rocket. It's around $11 for that race. I will be having a bet on that horse.
Bit of late mail from Dean Watling. Beautiful.
Just flown in. Just coming out of the brain.
Flown in. Outstanding. $11, did you say? King of Sparta. Remind me, does that horse always trial really well and perform well first up, or am I thinking a different horse? That's it?
No, it goes super. Yep.
Beautiful.
First up. Trials have been super.
All right, you want more of Dean's work? DeanWatling.com. Simple as that. Lewis Willoughby on the morning line, is it, Lou?
Yep, that's the one.
Got it right this time. Thegreattipoff.com for anything you needs from me. I'll have a Rose Hill set and a Randwick set up as well. Lads, it's been a pleasure. But we can't forget the giveaway. So if you want to get involved, if you want to get involved in our multi, that will be up on Wednesday. What you need to do is like, subscribe, and comment in the YouTube section. And let us know this week. We're going to go something different. Give us your pick for the Everest. Who's going to win the Everest? Let us know. Give us a reason why. And Lukey will spend 3 hours working who is the best response. Actually, no, he doesn't. He puts him in a little duck race, doesn't he now? Have you seen that, lads?
Yeah, duck race is good.
Yeah.
I actually think it's the highlight of my week, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm concerned by that.
I'm battling. Not much going good now. They're at the rugby league's nearly come to an end. I can't be a fake Swan supporter anymore. They're gone. They're gutless. I don't know what to do. To wait for Wednesday and Saturday racing. Righto. That's been all in. Bye for now.
See ya.